Please don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button, then click the bell and then click all. Every like and subscribe helps us make more great videos for you. Okay, so this is a warning to anyone in the UK who's thinking of renewing their broadband contract or starting a new one. Now, in some cases you could end up losing your home telephone number. This telephone number is a telephone number that you could have had for decades. Now, why is this happening? Well, some phone and broadband providers are basically trying to make it cheaper for themselves to still provide you with a home phone line. And what they're doing is they're switching you to a internet-based phone line, which essentially means that the phone line part of your contract goes through the internet and through your router. So your phone will not plug into the phone socket on your wall. Your router will still plug into that, but your phone will plug into your router or a special adapter which then connects into your router. Now, eventually all phone lines will be this way anyway, but Sky, naming one internet provider, seems to have adopted this technology early for some of its customers. I've had one customer who's basically decided to take their phone line and broadband over from TalkTalk to Sky, and what they've actually done is Sky have lost their telephone number. They've given her a new telephone number. This telephone number she had for decades. Another customer that I know is already with Sky and has decided to upgrade their package, and they've been allowed to keep their telephone number. They haven't switched her to a broadband phone service. Now, one thing I have noticed Sky will often ask is, if you had a power cut, have you got another way of contacting the emergency services? So this is an indication that they might be wanting to change your phone service over to an internet-based phone service, like VOIP it's called, Voice over IP. Now, this could mean you could lose the telephone number you've held for years as your home phone number. Not always, but it can do. So if Sky do ask you this, or any internet provider ask you this question, if you have a power failure, would you have another way of contacting the emergency services? Then if you don't have a mobile phone, then obviously respond no. But if you do have a mobile phone, ask them, will I be able to keep my telephone number if I renew my contract or move my phone service over to you? If you can, get that response in writing, either via letter or an email, especially if that telephone number is important to you. Also, it's worth bearing in mind, if you have any sort of an alarm service, like a house alarm or a personal alarm, then this service would not be suitable for you, because the phone connection needs to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to operate this service. If, say for instance, you had a personal alarm, one of these buttons that you can wear around your neck, so that if you get into trouble you can push it and it sends a message to a relative or a company, which then alerts the relative or alerts the emergency services. This isn't going to work if your broadband's gone off. And it's also not going to work in the case of if you have a power cut, which might be a time when you might need to contact somebody. So therefore, I would suggest, if you're at all concerned about answering this question, then answer it as no. No, you don't have another way of contacting the emergency services. And obviously, if you can, explain to the internet provider what equipment you have that attaches to the phone line. If you've got a burglar alarm, tell them. If you've got a personal alarm, tell them. If you've got a fax machine, tell them, because that might not work with the service. So this is just a word of warning. Like I say, it might not happen to everybody, but I've certainly seen one person who has moved from TalkTalk to Sky. They have lost their telephone number, and it was a rigmarole because they did have a personal alarm, and in the end Sky basically turned around and said, oh, this service isn't going to work with your personal alarm, we've got to do something else, which I imagine was change her back to a normal standard phone line. But the bottom line was she still actually lost her telephone number, the telephone number she'd held for decades. As I say, this is not everybody, because I've been to somebody else who renewed their contract with Sky, upgraded to fibre. She got asked the same questions, and I did actually ask the question, are we able to keep the same telephone number? And they've confirmed, yes, we will be keeping the same telephone number there. Hopefully in years to come, when everybody's switched over to voice over IP, then BT and other providers would have sorted this all out, and you will be able to keep your number. Also, they'd have sorted out some way of keeping the connection alive so that you can still use the telephone in an emergency. If you haven't got broadband and you're concerned, then don't worry, they are going to supply something to you to enable you to connect the phone up to a certain box to allow it to still go over VOIP. I hope you liked this guide. If you did, hit that like button. If you think your friends, your family or your work colleagues might like it, then don't forget to share this on your social media. Also, if you want to hear about my latest videos, then hit that subscribe button. Hope this guide helps. Thanks very much for watching.